Hi friends, welcome back to Farmville Diaries. My name is Caitlin, and it is the end of July, as apparently is my normal. I am going out of town tomorrow, so much has happened in the garden in the past couple of days, past week, that I wanted to do an end of July garden tour, show you everything that is happening as we go into August. So August is one of the times that I always talk about August weeds. So August is a messy garden. It's the August curse is what I call it. The garden normally is pretty weedy, and it's a mess. Everything is growing, everything is doing well. So that means your weeds are doing well as your plants. So I'm harvesting so much in August, but at the same time, I always feel like the August garden is just the messiest garden it can be. And while parts of it are messy, this is the first year that I feel like I've really taken a good control on my weeds, and I'm feeling really good about it. So, like I said, there are a lot of weeds. You're not going to have weeds, or unless you spend all of your time in the garden, you're not going to have a garden without weeds. And we've been in a heat wave here. It's been in the 90s the past couple of days. And to be honest, it's so hot when I get home, I don't want to be in the garden. So, I kind of let the weeds do their thing in the month of August, and I'm just grateful for whatever I get. But this year we've stayed on top of it. I feel like really good keeping up on the weeds. Like I said, there are some, but compared to last year and previous years, I'm doing light years better. And that's just because it takes time to get your systems in place. You know, it takes time to build up a soil so that you don't have weeds coming through. It takes time to kind of eradicate weeds, and it takes time. So, it's all working. Aside from I'm fighting thistle, like nobody's business. I continue to fight it though, and everything is working. So, this is a good looking garden. So, I'm gonna take you around. I'm gonna show you some of the changes we have going on, and now we are transitioning right into the fall garden. So I'm getting ready to go out of town, like I said, tomorrow. But when I come back, we're really gonna start focusing heavily on the fall garden. So, let me show you around and show you everything we have going on. So right behind me is my green bean trellis. So you can see this side has nothing growing on it. My green beans started and something broke them, snipped them. Somehow the green bean plants died. So I am trying to take like the big weeders here. I'm trying to take those big leaders and work them around the trellis in hopes that it continues growing and covers that trellis. But you can see just at least the one side of this is really pretty. It's better than nothing. Last year I didn't have as much. I planted red noodle beans on this last year, and they did not do near as well as my green beans. My green beans do so well on this. Every year this will be my green bean trellis, and hopefully next year I have it on both sides. So I have so many sunflowers, and I love sunflowers for the beauty. I love sunflowers for the pollinators. I love sunflowers for cut gardens. But there is something about sunflowers. And this year I tried really hard a couple years ago to get white sunflowers. I finally found seeds. The seeds are not great, I'll be honest. I bought them from Walmart. They're not great. But I have my first white sunflower. Look at that. And then that is a teddy bear sunflower. You can see how big and fluffy they are. And then in the back, we have eclipse sunflowers. So many beautiful sunflowers. That guy was a massive, you can barely see where all those dead heads are. That was a massive sunflower. Here I have this gorgeous volunteer. And then these guys. I absolutely love having sunflowers in the garden. So I typically do succession sowing of sunflowers so that I have gorgeous sunflowers come in all summer long, and I haven't done a succession yet. So my sunflowers are kind of, they're still blooming, but they're definitely kind of on the way out. So I need to do another succession so I have fall sunflowers. So that's on my list to do, but I haven't done it yet. This was my snap pea trellis, and then right at the bottom was my lettuces. So I ripped all that out because that was all about done. And I have tried for the first time ever to put in potatoes in the garden. So let me go over here and show you what it looks like. I've harvested all of my potatoes. So if you missed that video, I did do a video where I harvested my potatoes. I think I got like 26 pounds or something like that. I forget. Anyhow, I've harvested all my potatoes, and so I planted my potatoes in the beginning of April, and it is middle of July when I harvested them. So it took about 3 months to get like big, nice sized potatoes. So I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I thought I'd try it. I bought some potatoes from the store. I just bought some red potatoes from the store. Some of them had a little bit of eyes on them, some of them didn't. If I would have thought about it, I would have bought them beforehand and kind of let them grow eyes. But I didn't think of it, so I just bought a bag and I threw 6 potatoes in that bed, and I have a bed down there. I threw another 6 potatoes in. So we'll see. I'm hoping that I can get a fall harvest of at least baby potatoes. So if I could get a fall harvest of baby potatoes, that would be awesome. So the problem I have with a lot of these veggies right now is I have so much coming in that I want these things to come in the fall. So for instance, I was just thinking today, I make a really yummy zucchini pizza, and I make the zucchini pizza and then I top it with arugula, and it's delicious. But it is really uncommon for a zucchini and arugula to come at the same time. At least it doesn't come in at the same time for me where I am. But in the fall, it could. So I have zucchini started in the basement. I have some lettuce seeds. And when I get back from my trip, I'm going to put some fall plants in the ground. So I'm going to put zucchini and arugula in hopes of having like a zucchini arugula pizza. So we'll see if that goes. But I'm really hoping I can get a fall harvest of potatoes, because that would be really awesome. No idea if it's going to work, but you don't know until you try, right? Okay, do you want to see a mess? We're going to go back over here. I wanted to show you this. This is a mess. It is a mess. But there's a reason it's a mess. This is my onion bed. Talk about weedy. I mean, you can't even see the onions in there. So this bed is a mess, and I cannot wait to get in this bed. The first thing I do when I come home is I'm harvesting this bed and the other onion bed. They both need to be emptied, weeds cleared out, and cleaned out. What happened is I stayed on these beds pretty good with the weeds. Come about July, the weather got warm, the weeds started growing much faster. And I just can't get out here and harvest every single day. I just don't have the time. But I was out here every couple of days, like pulling weeds, and I know onions don't like weeds, so I was staying on top of it, and honestly, until about the middle of July, it was not a problem. But what ended up happening is I have weeds that, like these grasses, all just like big grasses, that put off such a root that when I was pulling the weeds, I was disturbing my onion bulb, and I was kind of pulling the onion bulb out of the ground. And my onions didn't actually start bulbing up until July. You know, and I'll show you, I have some decent sized bulbs, not great, not good, but enough that it's not a flop. And I've gotten so much onion greens from these beds that it's definitely, these were still a great thing for me to harvest. But I ended up having to stop pulling the weeds because I was disturbing the onion bulb too much. So I kind of had to let these weeds go a little crazy, which is annoying, and it sucks because this does not look nice, but I had to do what I had to do. And in the mess, and let's show you, in the mess I do have onions. Right, there's one. I have a big one somewhere in here. But like, look how big that weed is. Like, that weed right there is huge. You can't really see. Right there is a little onion. Oh, right there's the big guy. The biggest one I think I have. The weeds are not ideal, but within the next week, the weeds will be out of here-ish. The weeds will be out of here. And this bed and then that bed, I'm going to turn into beets and carrots. So I'm going to come in, plant beets and carrots. I do have shade cloth that I think at least is going to go over my carrots. I don't know if it'll go over my beets or not, but we're definitely going to get the shade cloth up because I want to see if I can't get my fall harvest of beets and carrots started now. And then, if you've noticed, I don't know if it showed or not, my rabbit's cage is empty. What does that mean? It is so hot. I have Miss Figgy in the house. She is not happy. She's in the seed room right now, and she is not happy. But it's heat index is of like 100 and I don't even know, 102, 106. I feel like, but I might be making that up. Anywho, it's just too hot. I was like, I don't want to take a chance and figure out what her max temperature is when I come home and find her dead. So I brought her in the house yesterday, and she will stay in there the whole time while I'm gone. I tried to give her like ice packs and like marble slabs that are in the freezer for her to lay on, and she does not know how the cold packs work. She doesn't use them. Oh, my cucumbers, or not my cucumbers, my pickles are finally coming in. We have a little pickle there, if I can get it to show up on camera. That pickle got missed. But I've already harvested 2 pickles, and these are obviously pickles, not cucumbers, so you do want to harvest them a little on the smaller end. So I have 3, and I'm hoping when I come home I have enough at least to make one like batch of refrigerator pickles. They took a little bit to come in, but they're finally starting to come in, so that's great. Okay. Let's show you everything else. Here are the peppers. And I'm harvesting peppers at this point, but not many. This grass I just pulled, like within the last like 3 days. It's growing so fast. So is it this one? No. Okay, there's some banana peppers. Okay, so here it is. So these are supposed to be orange yummies. And that is very clearly not an orange yummy. And that honestly doesn't even look like a jalapeno. So it looks like a jalapeno in body, but not in color. But these are all supposed to be orange yummies. So I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. None of my orange yummies are coming in yet. And it's obviously not shaped like an orange yummy, so it's definitely not an orange yummy. But it's in the orange yummy section. Where our cat has been laying, you'll notice there's a food and water bowl because the cat needs to eat. So I need to go get some more food so the cat has food for tonight. And it's an outside cat, so it'll need to find food while I'm gone. But oh my gosh, what do I have? Let me show you this. Nothing on that one yet. And then these guys down here are pretty small yet. To my knowledge, I didn't start any seeds with peppers that'll be that big. I didn't start any bell peppers this year. I think I started them, but I don't think they germinated. But to my knowledge, I didn't put any peppers in this garden that would get that big. So it'll be a surprise when we find out what it is. But look at that guy. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then, oh my god, these are, look at these. These are just so pretty. They're such a pretty color. I don't think I've seen pink zinnias in my garden, that color before. So that's exciting. Okay. Let me show you the next thing. So this is my eggplant. I have one right there, and there's one somewhere in there under that broccoli leaf. There's one. But that one is just starting to put out a flower, so I may get eggplant from this guy after all. It is hot outside. That eggplant, my eggplants have done nothing. Like when I say they've barely grown, they have barely grown. The fact that there's a flower on there, which means I may get an eggplant, is super, super exciting. There are a couple things that just aren't growing. I have lovage and tarragon and a holy basil up in pots with Miracle-Gro, and they are literally doing nothing. They're not dying, but they're not living. They've grown not a centimeter since I bought them. So I don't know what the deal is. But my eggplant at least has a flower, so that's fun. And then look at this. Can you see this? Isn't that going to be such a dainty dahlia? There's just so much excitement going on. So I'm just going to scan this section because I think it looks really cool. And then we'll talk about it. Down there I have my Brussels sprouts, which are doing pretty good. Tomatoes, some sunflowers. Look at those sunflowers. Doing exactly what I wanted. And then here's all of the broccoli. So the broccoli puts off this gorgeous flower. I'm letting the broccoli flower, one for the pollinators, because the pollinators love the flowers. But two, I've been feeding it to Figgy, and Figgy loves the broccoli flowers too. But then look what I just saw. We're going to harvest this guy today. Look how big he is. He's, for not being the main head, that's a decent sized broccoli head. And then I have that one right there. So we're going to harvest those before we go in. I didn't bring a basket. So we're just kind of shoving things in our pocket right now. But that's looking really great. And then can you see the path to that section has been overgrown by the broccoli. But back there I have a nasturtium that you can barely see the colors poking out. You can just see all the different colors of that nasturtium, which look really pretty. So the broccoli is looking really, really good. Well, the flowers are looking really, really good. As long as I still see bees on these, I'll leave these alone. And like I said, Figgy is really enjoying them, so they work because I'm feeding them to her. But as soon as kind of this starts dying back and it's not as useful to me or the bees anymore, the broccoli will get ripped out and we will replant. I have zucchini that I'm thinking I'll put it in this bed, so we'll see if that happens. But zucchini is going to go somewhere. And then if you come in the middle, now you can see better. Now the broccoli is getting so big. There are cabbages in the center, and that one actually looks like I need to check him. There's a little cabbage. There's a little cabbage there. Let's give him, oh, he's actually getting pretty close. Let's go check that one. So my cabbages will need to come out soon. I don't know if I can get to my cabbages with all the broccoli still in. So the cabbage, when you know cabbage is ready, is when it's firm to the touch. When you can squeeze the head, you don't feel like a lot of excess leaves. My cabbages could be harvested today. I'm going out of town. It's hot. I'm sweaty. I don't feel like dealing with this right now. So we're gonna leave them in the ground and hope that it doesn't rain enough that they split. If you leave cabbages in too long, they will split. So we're gonna hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it will. I'm not calling for a lot of rain. And I have a little bit of give on them yet. It's not like they're tight and need to come out this second. But that's definitely something we're going to put on the agenda for the next time we're in the garden, to get those cabbages harvested. And then look about getting this whole section replanted. All of those white things that were flying around, those are aphids. And I didn't have them in the spring, but I have them now. So you can put stuff on your plants to keep aphids from getting them, or to kill the aphids. I don't put anything on my plants, so I just kind of deal with the bugs. I know there's aphids on them, and now I'm to the point that when I use my broccoli, or when I harvest my broccoli, I soak it in water to get out any bugs. When I harvest it in the spring, I give it a quick wash and that's fine. But now I'm to the point that I'm soaking it with a little bit of salt or a little bit of baking soda. I think it's salt, in order to get any bugs that are in there out. Okay, because we're just obsessed with sunflowers. Would you look at that? Gosh, that's pretty. And then even this broccoli flowers, I just think is so wild and pretty. And then we have so many tomatoes just standing here. You can see all of the tomatoes back in there. I harvested my first one of these. I actually don't even know what this is, but I harvested my first one of these this year, or yesterday, I mean. But my first tomato of the year. And then this is the one that I'm watching. Oh, look at that one down there. This is the one that I'm watching. And that started to blush. I didn't even see that one. Let's pick this one. And look at that one. That is gorgeous. This is a Paul Robeson. Am I gonna take this on my trip tomorrow? Yes. I already have the one I picked yesterday. But this one's going on my trip too, because we don't leave beautiful tomatoes at home. My God, I'm so excited. So it's been a super hot day. It was actually supposed to storm, but the storm literally skipped over my neighborhood. So we didn't get it, which is fantastic, because if this one was this red, I mean, it's still a little green. It could stay on the vine a little bit longer, but if it had gotten rained on, it would have soaked up a lot more water and been a lot juicier, but not in a good way. It would have been a lot more bland. With tomatoes, you want to pick them on the hottest part of the day, and you want to pick them when they haven't had a lot of rain. So they haven't had rain in a couple of days. It's super hot right now. My face doesn't sweat, but my God, I'm hot. So this is the perfect time to pick this guy. So I know by now, I know not to come to this garden without a harvesting basket, but I never learn. I just never learn. So we have a lot going on in here. So many tomatoes. Every year I yell at myself. I say, Keelan, do not go into that garden without a harvesting basket. And every year I do it. And here we are, trying to hold everything in one hand. Cherries are doing pretty good. Let's see if I have any ground cherries. I've never grown this plant before. And I was told you had to wait for them to fall off, but this one is not. I knocked this one off by accident. But I don't see any on the ground yet. Got a couple that are yellowing right there. Right there and there, they're starting to yellow. So I have one ground cherry, which I don't think is quite ready, but we're gonna go wander through the tomato jungle. I'm gonna go try it. My zucchini, there's a big hole. I don't know if it really shows up on camera. But I had 3 zucchini plants. I now have 2 because one got squash bugs. And to be honest, the zucchini, they're about done. This is one of the last ones. Oopsie, I'm kind of just walking into everything here. They're one of the last zucchinis that I'm gonna get. So it's actually pretty hot for zucchini, so it's about time that my zucchinis do kind of roll out, and they got squash bugs. So I went to pick a zucchini and I ended up pulling the entire zucchini off of its stem, with this entire zucchini plant off of its stem. So what happens is you get squash spores that will actually eat the stem of the plant until they actually like decapitate the plant, and that's what happens. So I've tried things in the past to prevent the squash spores, but in my experience, by the time the squash spores kill the plant's kind of on its way out anyway. So I have, so I don't mess with it. I just let them do what they're gonna do. Like, you can wrap the stem in nylons, like tights. You can wrap it in foil. I've seen people wrap it in like, there's like, we used to use them as hair wraps in school. It's like a foam wrap thingy. All you have to do is like wrap the stem to protect the stem. I've done it. I don't know that I actually had that much better success with it, but I kind of like, I kind of accept that by the end of July, I'm going to lose my zucchini, which is fine. But I think I have 5 really healthy looking zucchini started in my basement that when I get home from my trip, we're going to start hardening them off, and then they're going to go into the garden, like I said, within the next week. So we have a lot of garden work that's going to need to be done when I get back from my trip. But it's the part of being, that's the part of a gardener. Like in the spring and in the winter, you're like, oh, I just want to garden. And you don't forget, but you don't care about the summer gardener. So right now it's like 95 degrees. I don't even know, with like 100% humidity. It's not the heat, it's the humidity that kills me. And it's stupid hot here. It's super, super humid. And I don't want to do anything in this garden. The fact that I'm shooting this video is impressive. But even so, you got to kind of plan for the fall gardener, because the fall gardener, when it's nice, will want to be out here doing stuff because it's nice out. So I want to make sure the fall gardener has something to do. So summer gardener has to suck it up. Okay, let's try this. What is this? This is a ground cherry. This is my first ground cherry ever. And it's not quite ripe, so it's not, if it's a little bitter, it's not allowed to make it or break it for me. Ready? Well, that was interesting. So it tastes like a tomato, but like I would say probably 30% tomato and maybe like 70% cherry. I actually don't know what cherry tastes like, so I'm assuming that's what a cherry tastes like. I don't like, the only cherry that I know is like the cherry medicine, like Danatep you had as a kid, and I hated it. So I don't eat anything cherry now because I think it tastes like medicine. But I think that's what a cherry tastes like, right? Anyhow, that was a tasty little treat. So I'm excited for more, and we will grow them again next year. This year I definitely struggled, so I put my cherry tomatoes up on my patio garden, and I kept losing them. They kept either dying from lack of water because I forgot they were up there, or like something would come and eat them. So I only have one sun gold cherry tomato, and a sun gold cherry tomato is my favorite tomato. It is so good. So good. I just eat them as snacks. Like, I haven't, and the tomato's kind of struggling, so it's not getting very big, so it just gives me like one tomato at a time. But I made the mental note that next year I need to somehow, and I don't know how, find room to plant more sun gold cherry tomatoes, and like more cherry tomatoes in general, because I really like them. I don't know how I do that. I don't know how I get more room in the garden that's already kind of maxed to capacity, but I definitely want more sun gold tomatoes like in the garden. But I think, I want to show you one more vibe before we wrap up, but I think that's basically the gist. We took out the potatoes, so the entire potato bed is empty. That's gonna stay empty. I'm going to move the straw. So when I dug out the potatoes, I found a little family of moles that was living in it, like all kinds of baby moles. They were enjoying my potatoes. I lost quite a few to them, a couple of big potatoes to them, which definitely sucks. But I'm 100% an animal lover, and I just covered the moles back up and I didn't move them. I did tell the cat that's living in the garden that, like, you have a task, come get the moles. but I didn't move them. So right now there's just a pile of straw where I think the moles were living. So I'm gonna give them a couple of weeks, and then I'm gonna kind of try to spread out the straw over the potato patch. I have all these wood chips that I haven't honestly moved a single wood chip in probably 2 weeks. It's just been too hot, and I just don't care. So eventually I need to start that back up again, and I'm gonna wood chip that area too, and that area is gonna sit now until probably next May. So it's gonna sit for just shy of a year, probably about what, 8 months. So those wood chips will start breaking down. That'll help feed that soil, and then next year where the potatoes were is where my tomatoes I think are going to go. So we're just gonna keep breaking everything down that's on there, and that soil should be in pretty good shape next year. I'm excited to see how our potato experiment goes this year. And then we have a fall crops to get in the ground, broccolis and lettuces and carrots and beets, and summer gardener doesn't want to do it, but when fall and winter gardener is gonna appreciate what summer gardener did. I really kind of want to take a bite of this tomato, like just one bite. But I can't do that. No, I can't do that. It's not an apple. You don't eat a tomato like an apple, guys. I kind of do. Look how dark that flesh is. That was good. I need some salt. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna eat this rather than taking it on my trip with me, but that's okay. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends.